G'day, Steve here, Woodworking Masterclass. Welcome to the workshop. You know, I've been making a few rolling pins lately, and this is a specialty rolling pin, which I'll talk about later. One of the challenges that I've had is getting it parallel, because I'm not that good of a wood turner that I can take the skew and get it nice and parallel all the way down. So what I did, I came up with this little jig that really makes life a lot easier. And I thought what I'll do, I'll make one, so you might be able to make one too, and turn some nice parallel rolling pins. Easy stuff to get. You can pick it up at your junkyard. You might even have the stuff lying around the shed. What I've got is a bit of PVC pipe and a bit of scrap timber. I've got some PVC pipe cement, some small screws, and some glue. So let's get started. First of all, you have to work out how big you want your rolling pin to be, and then you'll make this sanding jig the same size or thereabouts of the rolling pin you're making. So in this case, this is the chap here I want to do. In case you're wondering, it's a ravioli rolling pin. The idea is you get your ravioli, your pasta you make, you put it down, and then you roll this over the top of it, and that'll give you the indentations. Then you put your filling, whatever it might be, in there, put the pasta over the top, re-roll it again, and you'll have nice pillows. This one has 4 holes, but I'm thinking I might do one with 3 holes. That being the case, what I want to do is make one rolling pin with 6 holes and then cut it in half. That way I get 2 rolling pins for the price of one. So for that length, what I need is a piece of square stock or round stock, whatever you're using, that's going to adequately give me that. Now 7 inches is a good measurement there, so 14 inches. So if I allow 16 inches or 420 mil, depending which way you want to measure, and cut this off at that length, and then we'll move to the next step. Won't be a tick. So there you go. I've cut this one at, well, 500. Gives me a little bit to play with. But that'll allow me to get 6 of these nicely, and then I can make 2 lots of ravioli rolls. Now just divide this in half, and we'll go over to the bandsaw and rip it down the middle. Now I've got 2 halves. What I want to do is take a sliver off of this side. The reason I took this extra piece off is I'm going to make a handle up to go on the back of this, and I want a little bit more meat there, so I'm going to actually glue this onto the back, which gives me more meat. So we'll get this bit of timber. I'm going to put a hollow, the same radius this, up the middle, then screw this onto this piece of timber, and then use, or glue it in and screw it in, and then use the cement, the PVC cement, to put on here to join it to this, and then screw the bottom onto that. So, big process, but it's all going to get done. Several ways you can do this concave on the bottom. You could use a hollow and round plane, or in this case it would be a round, which is one of those. This is the H&T Gordon. I think it's about a 19mm. Get a hollow that way if you choose to. If you've got a router bit with the right size radius, you could use a router bit, but what I'm going to do is actually do a cove cut on the table saw. So I won't go in depth how you do it, but the table saw, by putting a fence there and setting it at an angle, you can get beautiful coves. So let's go over to the table saw. And there you have it. All things being equal, should be the same radius as this, which it is. Now I'll just get some glue. And for this I'm using polyurethane liquid glue, Type.Bond. I find this is an excellent glue for this type of glue up, because it's two dissimilar materials being glued together, and it works really well. Put that there, just get a little bit from side to side, spread the glue out. Get some small screws. See, I think I'll use these ones. And screw them in wherever you reckon to. A fair thing. See if you can countersink them a bit. It helps because we're going to glue this onto here next. Clean this off. It's a bit messy. Right, so it's nice and clean. That's clean, and they're countersunk. Put some PVC cement on the inside of that. And a line down the ridge on the outside of the pipe, like that. Put them together. Push them down. Shouldn't take long to set. Might just put a couple of clamps on there to make sure they're held nice and firm, and then put some screws in here. Take this clamp off now. See what I mean? I've got a little bit more meat to bite into with that extra lip I put on. And one here on the end. And that is pretty good. Now that's all done. Now I'm going to put some 60 grit paper in there. It all depends what you're turning that determines what size grits you want to use. I've got one here, which I built for doing a specific purpose, and it's 100mm diameter pipe, but it's in plywood, so I've got 40 grit in there, which is very, very aggressive. You find 60 grit will most likely do most things that you want it to do. In this case, I'm using quick grip water base. The only reason I'm not using spirit base is because I haven't got any in the shed. I've got this. Whew. Penny ink. Anyway. It does take, the water-based stuff does take a fair while to tack off. But that's all you do. Just paint it in like this. Make sure you get good coverage. Nothing worse than being stingy with glue. It comes back and bites you. Don't have the abrasive paper cut off along the edge of the pipe. Leave a lip of about 10mm either side. And that you will find later on really helps with your lead in and exit when you're using it. So in this case I'm going to go a bit bigger than I really need, and I can trim it off later on. Put glue on this side. The thing I do like about this water base is it's clean up in water, which is really quite nice. That's it. Now we'll put this aside, and also the pipe. And in about a half an hour or so, we should be able to put it together. Okay, now that's dried. And that's dried, it's just a bit tacky. Going to put them both together. And we're going to have another rolling pin sanding jig. Trick is hold it so it touches the underside first, and make sure you got overhang all the way around. Just pop it in. And there you go. Complete. What I will do is just make sure I push it down. Knife. Well, actually, yeah, trim off the excess. Now I'm going to go over to the saw and just trim off this so it's all nice and square. And there you have it. I leave this flappy bit on here because when I put it on a rolling pin or whatever I'm doing and it's in a lathe, it's nice to get a bit of a lead in, and then that'll hold on. Whereas if you go hard in, it can catch and scratch. So if you leave a little bit down here, and when you put it in, you just lead it in. And there you go. Parallel rolling pins. How's that? Or whatever else you want to be parallel. Make it in any size. As I said, I've done it. That's 70mm. I've got one over here, which is 100mm, and I've got another one out there that's 60mm. All the major sizes that I use. Easy to make, very, very handy, and stuff possibly you got lying around the yard. Okay, I'll start making a rolling pin now.